You just heard the quotes that sent the internet into a complete meltdown. And for weeks, you've been told a very simple, very emotional, and very misleading story that Lexi Hall, a core piece of the Indiana Fever and one of Caitlin Clark's closest allies, was saying her final goodbyes. But that story is a lie. Many of you watching have already been connecting the dots, and you know that the headlines are missing the real story because this isn't a heartbreaking farewell. This is a high-stakes power play. Today, we're going to filter out the noise, connect the dots, and prove to you that this situation isn't about a player leaving, but about how Caitlin Clark's unwavering loyalty has forced the Indiana Fever's hand, cornering their front office with an ultimatum they cannot afford to ignore. This is the real story of the loyalty test that will define the future of the entire franchise. If you believe, like we do, that the truth is always found in the details, the mainstream media ignores. Show your support and smash that like button. It's a simple click, but it tells us you want more deep dive investigations like this one. All right, let's start by dismantling the lie. The entire firestorm was built on a deliberate misinterpretation. Channels desperate for clicks took those clips of Lexi Hull, clipped them for maximum emotional impact, and sold you the idea that she was officially leaving Indiana. They called it a farewell and a bombshell. That left Caitlin Clark heartbroken, but they intentionally ignored the two most important words she said: restricted free agent. For our new narrative analysts here, that's not a goodbye speech. It's a legal status. As a restricted free agent, the Indiana Fever hold the right of first refusal. That means they have the power to match any offer sheet she signs with another team. She isn't gone. In fact, the Fever have the final say. So, when Hull says things like, with a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what's to come, she's not being cryptic or saying a coded goodbye. She is giving the standard media professional answer of any player who is about to enter contract negotiations. She is protecting her leverage, and the Fever are protecting theirs. The media took this standard business posture and twisted it into a soap opera. They sold you drama because the truth that this is a complex contract negotiation doesn't get as many clicks. They counted on you not knowing the rules. So if this isn't a farewell, then what is it? To understand that, you have to filter out the noise and look at what the media chose to ignore. The powerful alliance between Caitlin Clark and Lexi Hall. This isn't just a story about a contract. It's a story about chemistry and loyalty. For any narrative analyst watching, this is where the real game is being played. The bond between Clark and Hall isn't just a friendship. It's the single most important piece of leverage in this entire negotiation. The evidence has been there all season. We saw it in their ONC court chemistry and in the way they supported each other through a chaotic injury-rid year. But the most public signal came after the season ended, when Hull made her season wrap Instagram post, a post that speculators immediately tried to frame as a goodbye. Caitlin Clark's reaction wasn't silence. It was a public declaration of support with a comment that simply said, "So proud of you." That might seem small, but in the world of high-stakes sports negotiations, it's a massive signal. It was Clark publicly stamping her approval on her teammate, reinforcing their bond in front of the entire fan base. And the fans, who have been watching this all year, see it clearly. Social media is filled with discussions about their chemistry and how Hull's value as a glue player goes far beyond the box score. She's seen as a critical piece of the emotional ballast that kept the team steady. This is the dot the mainstream media refused to connect. They wanted to sell you a story of heartbreak and departure. The real story is that the bond between the Fever's superstar and their defensive anchor is so strong and so visible that it has transformed a standard RFA negotiation into something much, much bigger. It's become a test, and it completely shatters one of the laziest, most toxic narratives that has been floating around the league all year for months now. We've all heard the whispers. It's a lazy, toxic narrative that gets trotted out by critics every time there's a hint of drama. The idea that nobody wants to play with Caitlin Clark, they claim her spotlight is too bright, her intensity is too much, and that other players resent the attention she commands. It's a narrative that, as our research shows, fans are constantly having to fight back against online. Well, this entire situation with Lexi Hall is the single greatest piece of evidence to destroy that myth once and for all, because the truth is the exact opposite. Not only do players want to play with Clark, but their loyalty to her is so fierce that it has now become the most powerful negotiating tool in the room. This isn't a teammate trying to escape a shadow. This is an ally whose value has been magnified tenfold because of her connection to the superstar. And this reality has backed the Indiana Fever front office into a corner. It has presented them with a silent ultimatum delivered not by an agent in a boardroom, but by Caitlin Clark's public and unwavering loyalty to her friend. Think about the position they are in. The entire league, the entire media, and every single fan is watching. If they let Lexi Hall walk, the message it sends is catastrophic. It says that they don't value the chemistry that works. It says they don't listen to the needs of their generational superstar. It would be a massive self-inflicted wound, giving fuel to every critic who claims the Fever can't build a stable, winning environment around Clark. The fallout would be immediate and brutal. So what's their other option? They have to match the offer. Period. They have to pay what the market demands, not just for a defensive wing, but for the stability and trust of their franchise player. The ultimatum is clear. Either you prove your loyalty to Caitlin Clark by protecting the people who support her, or you reveal to the entire world that you don't understand the asset you have. So, what do you think? Is the Fever front office smart enough to see this loyalty test for what it is, or are they about to make a catastrophic mistake? Let me know your take in the comments below. And this ultimatum isn't happening in a vacuum. The pressure on Indiana's front office is being magnified by two massive DR League-altering forces that are shifting the balance of power in the WNBA forever. Every single team is feeling this pressure. But for a team on the brink like the Fever, it makes this loyalty test even more dangerous. The first is the shadow war being fought over the new collective bargaining agreement. As we speak, the League and the Players Association are negotiating a new deal with the current one set to expire on October 31st, 2025. But it's the second force that gives players like Lexi Hall more power than ever before. The rise of Unrivaled. This isn't just another off-season league. It's a player-owned, player-driven enterprise co-founded by superstars like Breanna Stewart and Napheesa Collier, offering six-figure salaries and a level of control that the WNBA has never seen. This changes the entire game. For a player like Hall, Unrivaled isn't just a place to play, it's a source of leverage. It proves she has valuable high-paying options outside of the traditional system. This means the Fever aren't just bidding against another WNBA team for Hall's services. They are bidding against a new era of player empowerment. And this is happening right after a season where they learned just how valuable stability is. Let's not forget this team made it to the semifinals and pushed the defending champs to 5 games despite being decimated by injuries, including the one that ended Caitlin Clark's own season. They survived because of their resilience and chemistry. They survived because of glue players like Lexi Hall. To let that walk out the door now wouldn't just be bad PR, it would be a catastrophic strategic failure. So, let's connect the final dots. The story the internet tried to sell you, a story of a heartbreaking farewell and a team in chaos, was a manufactured lie designed for emotional clicks. When we filter out that noise, the real picture becomes sharp and clear. This was never about Lexi Hall leaving the Indiana Fever. It's about Caitlin Clark's influence becoming so powerful that her teammates' contract negotiation has transformed into a public loyalty test for the entire franchise. Faced with a new era of player empowerment, a looming CBA negotiation, and the memory of a chaotic season, the Fever's front office is being forced to make a choice. Their decision won't just be about a single player. It will be a definitive statement on whether they have the intelligence and foresight to build a true championship culture around the generational talent that holds their future in her hands. The ultimatum is unspoken, but it is crystal clear. So, what's your take on all this? We want to know what you think. Is this a brilliant power move by Clark and her allies? Or is the Fever's front office being unfairly backed into a corner by player politics? Let us know your detailed theory in the comment section below. And if you believe the real story is always deeper than the headlines, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell because our investigations never stop. Finally, if you know another fan who's caught up in the emotional headlines, share this video and help us expose the real game being played behind the scenes.